Hi and welcome. Today's talk is titled Heavy Metal Toxicity and Its Impact on Mental Health. Research has increasingly shown that heavy metal exposure can contribute to a range of mental health disorders, such as depression, anxiety, cognitive impairment, and neurodegenerative diseases. This video will explore the mechanisms by which heavy metals impact the brain and contribute to mental illness, as well as the importance of detoxification. Mechanisms of heavy metal-induced mental illness. Neuroinflammation is inflammation in the brain and spinal cord. Chronic inflammation is linked to depression and anxiety, as inflammatory cytokines interfere with neurotransmitters like serotonin, which regulates mood. Elevated inflammation can also lead to cognitive decline and emotional instability. Oxidative stress occurs when there's an imbalance between producing harmful molecules called reactive oxygen species, ROS, and the body's ability to neutralize them. ROS can damage neurons and impair brain function, leading to cognitive issues such as memory loss and brain fog. Long-term oxidative stress is also associated with neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and can contribute to mood disorders like depression. Neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA are crucial for mood regulation, cognition, and behavior. Heavy metals can disrupt the production and function of these neurotransmitters. For example, mercury inhibits dopamine and serotonin production enzymes, while lead reduces dopamine levels in key brain regions. The blood-brain barrier, BBB, protects the brain by regulating what substances can pass from the bloodstream into the brain. Damage to the BBB can lead to cognitive impairment, memory loss, and neurodevelopmental disorders. In children, exposure to heavy metals can cause conditions like ADHD, autism spectrum disorders, ASD, and other developmental delays. Endocrine disruptors are substances that interfere with the normal function of hormones. Hormones like cortisol, thyroid hormones, and sex hormones are critical in regulating mood and cognition. Disrupted cortisol regulation leads to chronic stress, which can trigger anxiety, panic attacks, and depression. Thyroid hormone disruptions are linked to cognitive impairment, fatigue, and mood swings. Lead exposure has been strongly associated with major depressive disorder, MDD, primarily due to its effects on neurotransmitter systems and chronic inflammation. Over time, lead exposure exacerbates oxidative stress, which worsens depression symptoms. Mercury and cadmium affect neurotransmitters like GABA and glutamate, which regulate excitability and relaxation in the brain. Disrupted GABA activity leads to heightened anxiety, panic disorders, and social anxiety. Childhood lead exposure is also linked to increased anxiety and hyperactivity that can persist into adulthood. Cognitive impairment and dementia. Metals like aluminum and mercury contribute to the development of Alzheimer's disease and other dementias by promoting the formation of neurotoxic plaques and tangles. Long-term lead exposure is associated with cognitive decline, memory loss, and impaired learning abilities. Autism spectrum disorders, ASD. Heavy metals such as mercury, lead, and arsenic are suspected to contribute to the development of ASD, mainly when exposure occurs during prenatal and early childhood development. Studies have shown higher levels of mercury in children with autism compared to neurotypical children. Schizophrenia and psychosis. Lead and cadmium interfere with dopamine pathways in the brain, which are crucial for emotional regulation and cognition. This dysregulation can contribute to psychotic disorders such as schizophrenia, where patients experience hallucinations, delusions, and other cognitive disturbances. Detoxification and prevention. Reducing exposure to heavy metals and detoxifying the body is essential for preventing long-term mental health issues. Some strategies for detoxification include dietary changes. Consuming foods rich in antioxidants, such as fruits, vegetables, and leafy greens, can help neutralize oxidative stress. Supplements like chlorella and cilantro are also believed to help detoxify the body from heavy metals. Environmental awareness. Being mindful of potential sources of heavy metal exposure, such as contaminated water, air pollution, and household products, can reduce the risk of accumulation. Natural supplements for detoxifying heavy metals such as HMD. See www.heavymetaldetox.org.